Good morning everyone, it's Paris. Sunday morning here in Melbourne, Australia. How are you all? I didn't have time last night to make my celery juice, so I'm preparing it now. And I thought I'd multitask and say good morning to you all, because I haven't done my very regular lives as I usually do. I like to update you with what's going on. So excuse the noise in the background. I'm just making my celery juice, as many of you know that I make. And I've got the birds screaming in the background. I've had to isolate a few because they've been picking on each other. Now some of you may know that on Friday mid-morning, two of my galahs, two of my parrot galahs got out of the aviary. It's all my fault. I didn't check the aviary and they got out. It's all my fault. That's what happens. I took on too many extracurricular activities on top of trying to save the world, and I didn't pay attention, and that's what happens. That's what happens. Because the reality is, when you've got companion birds, you've got to be with them. You've got to check on them all the time, like all the time. And that's why I work from home, because I can't do it otherwise. I wouldn't be able to manage otherwise. I rescue birds, you see, from neglected and drugged and abused households, and also people who can't look after them for whatever reason. They want to travel, they want to have human babies, they can't handle the birds anymore, so they give them up. Many of them find me, others let them free, others kill them, euthanize them, do whatever to get rid of the birds off their shoulders. So I'm here to rescue as many as I can. It's not a business. I don't breed, I don't sell. Actually, I campaign against all that. So I'm just going to bring this a bit closer because it's a bit hard for my back. So that's what I do. I'm a professional bird behaviourist, which is similar to a dog behaviourist. But like I've said many times, birds have the same psychology and behaviour as human beings. So if you imagine that. And some of you may say, well, the birds have gone out, but go in the wild. No, it doesn't work that way. Okay, I try not to pamper them too much so that they can be half, so they can utilise their wild instincts while they're with me. Not all of them can. A lot of them have suffered so much in captivity, it's impossible. They don't even know how to have a bath. They have their own bath. So what happens is now, Nikki and Nico, our two galahs, they could be anywhere. I've used some clairvoyance and I've sent Philip out to go and see where they could be. Given him a few tips. What happens is they'll go in the wild and they'll either get attacked by dogs, by stupid dog owners who let their dogs free to kill ducks and all other wildlife. Yes, there's a lot of stupid dog owners out there, and a lot of stupid cat owners who let their cats out to kill all wildlife and animals also. Yes, they do. Then the other thing is that a lot of people that aren't well in their mind or abusive, they trap the birds and then they just keep them in little cages where the birds suffer, which is what I'm trying to get them out of. Because you see our governments allow people to do that. It's a code of conduct. And, or Nikki and Nico may have gone to someone else's house and they're eating there. I hope they're safe like that. There's all sorts of scenarios, but birds in captivity cannot live in the wild because they haven't been allowed to use their natural instincts to know how to live in the wild, right? It's like us going over to Africa. We're not in the jungles. We can't live there. We'll be gone. So a lot of people that say let pet birds out in the wild, you're not thinking right. Okay, I've got a few topics like you see on my video. So excuse me if I'm a bit not so chirpy because I've got Nikki and Nico on my mind. Okay, politics. I haven't been in touch with a lot of things since our Premier was talking about all that crap he'd said yesterday morning about nurses and that. But then I came across an article yesterday late afternoon about how, is it the Muslim church or something, they were celebrating something? Okay, I'd like to give you my opinion on that. Not that it matters, but this is just my opinion, and I'm sure some of you think the same. I don't care if you're Catholic, Orthodox, Muslim, Hindu, what you are. But if you think that you're a superior against other people and you should be allowed to have one person, two people, three people celebrating what you're celebrating, shame on you. Because if these people who get the bullshit exemptions, yeah, money in the pocket, to the government for doing what they're doing, you should be saying, no, I'm not going to celebrate because I want all Australians to celebrate. It's not just us, right? If these people were fair and were thinking correctly in these, I don't know, Muslim churches or whatever, they'd say, no, yes, we want to celebrate, but we want all Australians to celebrate and everyone have exemptions. Because you've got to remember something, friends. What was it, a couple of days ago? Was it last week? A mother had to lodge a petition to allow the father of the baby, for the father to see the baby. And he didn't get an exemption. So why the hell can these whoever groups get exemptions? Now, and some of you who have been brainwashed, yes, you've been brainwashed, to say, well, it's all conquer and divide and conquer. No, it's not. You've been brainwashed to say that. This is not about divide and conquer. This is about the fact that some people feel that and the governments have given that impression, well, it's not an impression, it's a fact, that they have priority over other people and that they're allowed to open their churches or to do celebrations or whatever. When people got arrested, Australians got arrested for going to the shrine the other day. Yes, July 31 is the real Australia Day. They got fined. I don't know, so if they got arrested. They got fined for going there. So you tell me, where's the divide and conquer? The divide and conquer is from these people who feel that they're inferior and saying, oh yes, we can celebrate what we want and the rest of you can't. That's not divide and conquer. That is racism and that is prejudice by these people and by the governments. Divide and conquer is something else. Do your research and find out what divide and conquer. Divide and conquer is when people are originally on the same page, have the same opinions, and then someone comes in to separate them. Well, those of us who think that some people should be allowed to do something and not the mothers of and the parents of newborn kids, we're not on the same page. Divide and conquer is when we're on the same page. So I blame these organisations who apply for exemptions and think that they are better than others. Because that's exactly what it is. And you've been brainwashed if you think otherwise. Look at the options. You won't look at the options because immediately you say what you've been brainwashed to say. Yes, unfortunately, there's a lot of brainwashed people, even those of us who are trying to save the world. Okay, I think that was it with that. And remember, brainwashing is when you are not allowed to have a choice in something, to think of the other side of the party. So that's not divide and conquer. The other thing is when people say don't watch TV. I understand why they say it because of all the negativity in life, but I'm against all that too. Because if you're at war and you don't know what your enemy or your allies are thinking, the other parties, how are you going to know how to reciprocate? How are you going to know what you need to do if you don't know what your enemies are doing? So you've got to watch some TV and some media, right, to know what they're saying, to know what comeback and what to say. There you go. I've overflowed my celery juice. That's what happens when I'm not listening to myself. The celery. So I'm not saying for you to get on there and watch TV all day, but you've got to know what people are thinking. You've got to know what they're doing. How are we going to know what to do if we don't know how they're thinking? Okay, now I've just got to get a bowl 1 second. I'm still here. Just hang on a second. Okay, the other thing is vision boards. Okay, I've been talking about vision boards. I'm still talking about vision boards. Can you please get out your vision boards? Please, it's very important that you write down what it is that you want exactly and specifically. Do not be general. If it's about you, you've got to put photos about you. It's about you and your relationship. See, look, I tipped the celery a bit. I wasn't concentrating. Okay, so can you please be specific on your vision boards? I'm going to put more vision boards. I've got mine behind me, the Universal Charter of Human Rights, as you can see there. And I'm going to add more pictures. I'm adding more pictures. Please, 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 please do your vision boards. Okay, now I can't remember what else it was that I was going to talk about now because I've got all the birds screaming. I want to thank you all. I want to thank a lot of you who have been sending me messages. I'm inundated. From fantastic messages, because I block all the ones that are negative and that aren't nice, right? When I say not nice, when they're rude and they swear and they say stupid things. So I just want to thank you all. I do get all the messages. I can't keep up, so just be patient with me while I try and reply as much as I possibly can to them all. I really want to thank you for that, because you are asking me stuff and I'm trying to help you all as much as I can. But you see what happens when the birds have to be my priority, no disrespect to anyone. But the problem is, if I don't look after these living beings, then they suffer, right? They suffer. So this is what's happening. I've had to cut back on a few projects. I'll still be doing lives as much as I can. And I'll also be focusing on a lot of bird welfare stuff, because most of you out there who have birds, you need to learn how to really look after them. Keep them out of cages, would you? Okay, so I just wanted to say thank you. I am getting your messages. And Nikki, also, you're listening to me. I know you also make celery juice. Thank you so much for reminding me that I can still make juice out of the leftover pulp that's here in the celery juice. Thanks. I used to do it and I totally forgot. So thank you for that. Okay, I'm going to put up some links about what I've been talking about, like I always do. I know that a lot of you are in different situations. And before I forget now, remember petitions. I've been wanting to lodge petitions for at least a week now, but for some reason I've been set back, and I'm really frustrated, because we need to get petitions out. That's the only way to do things. And I know I'm not saying that everything that I say is right, but come on. I mean, a few people have lodged petitions, and look, the word's getting out. That's the only way to do it. You've got to remember, it's August now. This has been happening from at least in December. We found out about it January. Those of you who still don't know what's going on, I don't think you're going to ever find out, or you're not interested. If we don't start to take action now and start doing all the petitions and start doing things for our rights and according to the Biosecurity Act, like Serene the lawyer has been telling us, if we don't start doing these things, things are getting worse and worse and worse. Every day, things are getting worse. And I know there's sunshine out there, and it's great for our health, but it makes us forget how bad the situation is. Okay, because overseas in other countries like Greece, France and other countries, people are free. Even in other states, people are free. Victoria's like this because we have a lot of complacent people in this state. We have a lot of people that aren't thinking right. And the other end of the spectrum is that we have a lot of wealthy people who are living their lives well, influential, I should say, not wealthy, influential people, just like these churches and all that can open, but the rest of us can't go to churches or can't go to funerals and can't do things like this. And if we can go, it's limited. And that is beyond disgusting. We are being played. So it's time that we start focusing on the Charter of Human Rights, on the Biosecurity Act of Australia, which is the boss of all acts of Australia. And I'll be posting as much as I can. Facebook is banning me like crazy, and like others. I'm moving over to MeWe. A lot of us are on MeWe. That's MEWE, because that's exactly like Facebook, but they don't ban anything. Because Facebook is just cutting all the reach, meaning that if I do a post, it only goes to 2 people as opposed to 200 or 300. So we've got to change our ways. They're forcing us to change our ways. All right, I'm going to put links up. Again, sorry that I'm flat. It's because I've got Nikki and Nico on my mind. And like I said, Philip is out there now. Clairvoyantly, I've given him some tips where to go. And I'm just going to make my celery juice here because I've got to keep my strength up. If I don't keep my strength up, I can't help you. And I'm still going to do these counselling sessions. I'm just a bit behind and I am tired. Because I'll show you later on the live. We've got trees that our lovely neighbour has donated that have been cut. And we've got to, look after the aviaries and the birds and all that because they are also alive. Don't keep them in cages. Please, if you know people who have them in cages, don't keep them in cages. Just get my advice and I'll tell you how to set up aviaries. Because birds are more intelligent than any living being on this planet. There's a big history behind birds, a big history. And I'm not saying it because I'm a bird lady. I'm saying it because I live them all day, every day. They know exactly what to do more than what human beings do. And do you know that they are also what's that word? They're hybriding birds, as in they're mixing the species and they're stuffing up their genetics. Breeders are doing terrible things. You know how Frankensteins have been doing to human beings and changing genetics? That's how bird breeders are in Australia and all over the world. And if you're a bird breeder and say, I don't do that, well, you shouldn't be breeding them intentionally and you shouldn't be selling them. The babies have to stay with the birds. Anyway, I diverted there. I went off. Birds are my passion. I'm here for you all. Just be patient with the replies because I cannot catch up with messages. It's just me. And I just cannot do it on my own. So just be patient with me. And if something is urgent, just say it's urgent. Okay, everyone, I love you. Thanks for watching and listening. There's no need to have fear. Don't have fear because when you know what's going on, you don't have fear. When you know all the facts of the situation, you don't have fear. People who have fears because they don't know what's going on. They think they do. They've been brainwashed to do. And even those of us in these causes to save the world, a lot of you have been brainwashed. And you'll find out one day how you've been brainwashed because you're not given an option. People are saying that's how it is. No, it's not like that. They've got to give you both sides of the story. Okay? All right, I love you all. I've got to let you go. I've got to feed the children. Have a great sunny day in Melbourne. Wherever you are, get sunshine. And we've got to be here for each other. Love you all. Bye.